In this video, I want us to take a look together at a new guitar from Huss Dalton Guitar Builders, the Statesboro. Huss Dalton has built acoustic guitars for 25 years and have a reputation as being one of the premier builders of acoustic guitars today. So for their 25th anniversary, they decided to go down a new path and start a new adventure with electric guitars. This is the Statesboro, the first electric guitar from Huss Dalton. This is one of the first few built from their shop. I'm fortunate to have it for a few days to look at and play, share with other folks like yourselves here, and then return it to Acoustic Music Works, where you could find it and give it a good home, a permanent home. However, when I opened the case and saw it, I thought, I'm in trouble, because I am a sucker for ebony Les Pauls. And when I saw this, I was just sort of jaw-dropped. This beautiful guitar, mahogany back and sides, flame maple top, just the kind of guitar you would think should be named Statesboro. I love the name, Statesboro Blues. It takes me back to Brothers and Sisters record, Eat a Peach, Dwayne and Dickie, and just that whole vibe of Southern rock that really a guitar named Statesboro should look like this. Obviously inspired by the Gibson Les Paul, mahogany back, neck, with a flame maple top. This guitar is, I think, aesthetically stunning, and that's what I thought when I first saw it, and still do. I like the fact that there's no pickguard on it. I like the fact that it just blends, all the components on it blend so well with the stain on the top and the paint on the back. Black knobs, black switch tip, black tailpiece and bridge, and even the nickel parts have been what I would call a gunmetal finish. They look smoky, kind of smoky looking, and I like that. So it all goes together to just make a really beautiful looking guitar. So why would we look at a guitar like this that is clearly inspired by a guitar that's been around for so long? I think two reasons. The smaller builders like this, why we would entertain a guitar like this in today's market, would be that the attention to build quality would be very much improved, and two, that the materials that are put into the guitar would be the best available. We know that guitars built in mass have to make some concessions, and those are the ones they usually make. To get materials that are the highest level and workmanship at the highest level, for the mass builders, are extremely expensive guitars. Whereas Huss Dalton, which is a small, what I would call bench shop, every guitar is going to get so much attention from them. Every detail is going to be covered. How do I know in this guitar that there's a difference? Well, unfortunately, you can't pick it up and feel it like I can. Maybe one day you'll get to hold one of these guys and play them, but the top carve is just really, really great. It feels great. It looks great. Just like you would want on a traditional carved top Les Paul guitar. A couple of things that I see right off: the places for your strap, the strap buttons have felt on them. The felt keeps the screw from scratching the guitar itself. If you wanted to put strap locks on here, you wouldn't damage your guitar because the felt would protect it. That's something that guitars built in mass are not going to have, because it's time consuming, it's a little more expensive, and they're just not going to do it. The other thing I noticed right off the bat was the pickup rings. On a carved top guitar, it takes a lot of work to get the ring to sit flush on the top because it's curving a couple of ways. I have some fairly nice Les Pauls that, frankly, I probably don't deserve. I just have come to learn to accept the fact that that's not going to happen on those guitars. These are perfect. There's no gap anywhere when I look around the pickup rings. It just tells you the time that was put in to carve those rings that fit the top match perfectly. Just the way the guitar feels, the way it's balanced, the neck heel feels fantastic. When you get up here in this area to play, there's nothing that bothers your hand. It's all smooth. The neck is what I would call a 59 carve, probably. It's definitely not like a slim 60s neck, or what some people call a baseball bat neck, or the 58. It's kind of what you would think your first electric guitar would have if you were going to build one, sort of a middle of the road neck that most people like. There's not a volute as such, but there's this nice little carve up here where the neck goes into the headstock. It's forgiving. You can actually put your hand pretty far up on it, and it still feels like the neck continues into the headstock. It's really nice. The nut work and the fret work is just impeccable, which doesn't surprise you from a smaller builder. There's nothing sharp up here. It just feels wonderful. Has Doto tuners on it, which I'm not familiar with. I just use the tuners of the masses. So these feel incredibly good. The little buttons feel so nice, and they're sort of a step up from what I'm used to using, I would say, for sure. I'm not sure of the ratio, if they're 12 to 1 or 16 to 1, but I know you could find that out fairly quickly. There's a real tasteful inlay on the headstock. I like the fretboard inlays. I don't know that this is what Huss and Dalton was thinking, probably not. But when I look at them, I see sort of a custom Les Paul block inlays with sort of a nod of the hat to the parallelogram, that sort of bar in the middle that's tilted. I love that because it makes me think of sort of the legacy and the heritage that this kind of guitar comes from. So again, that's just my eye. That might not be what's intended at all, but I like the inlays really well. I really dig them. So the guitar feels good, good weight, everything about it just feels like it's so well built. Let's give it a little bit of a listen here. We'll start in the bridge pickup, and just going through a 112 amp like a Fender Princeton. It's a Headstrong Little King. Here we are in the bridge pickup. So when I strum the guitar and feel it, I feel vibrations all through the guitar, all through the top, even down here in the cutaway, through the neck, and even all the way up to the headstock. So that's something that, you're not having a guitar that makes this format a little less than ideal. But I can tell you that in my sort of humble understanding of guitars, electric guitars, if they don't move and give the pickups a vibration to amplify through a speaker, then we got problems no matter how pretty they are. So this guitar is alive, and I've seen some pretty guitars, and I'm sure most of us have, that we liked, and we picked them up and we played them, and they were a dud. They just didn't have it, and it all started because of the materials in them. So again, the materials in this guitar are just top shelf, and there hasn't been anything cut back, so you can feel it in the guitar. All the strings ring nice and clear and equal. Middle position. The middle position is really sweet. Neck position. So all the tone controls are wide open. Of course, we could, take the high end off of some of that if we wanted, but just wide open. I like the fact that you've got this really nice jazzy tones. To a real snappy, high end. A lot of a spectrum there of tones just naturally in the guitar. Let's add a little full drive 2 pedal. There's a hair of reverb on this and a little bit of delay. This is kind of a configuration I would use a lot. Here we are in the bridge position. the Statesboro from Huss Dalton Guitars. Just a beautiful guitar. I appreciate you letting me share it with you. Hopefully you get to see one of these days and check it out. Just a word in closing. Why, again, would we like a small company builder as opposed to the big boys? I have been lucky enough over the years playing guitar to have some instruments built by what I call a bench type shop. Just a few people working on a lot less magnitude of guitars. So again, as we talked about, we would expect one, more attention to detail, two, better quality of the materials going into the guitar. But thirdly, I would add to that, there's usually a lot more opportunity for you to have input into your particular guitar. Maybe you ordered one from Huss Dalton. There's a dialogue that can go on a smaller shop that's just not going to happen, with what we would consider the big hitters. I have been very surprised, very pleased at the guitars that I have bought from the smaller builders in number, the people that employ fewer people that are so passionate about what they do. The name of them, their company's on the headstock as well, that they are very in tune with the people that have their instruments. They're always wanting to support them and help them, listening to their feedback. There really becomes almost a relationship and a rapport that you can get with a small company like Huss Dalton. To me, that's huge. To feel like you're part of a family of the company that you play their guitar, to feel like you have some kind of a voice with them and they are concerned about you with their instrument, it's hard to put a price on that. So those are the things that I would encourage you just to think about. Maybe you have one of everything and you want something extra special. To me, this would be that kind of guitar. If you wanted a guitar that could hold its own against any guitar on the market today, and you didn't want but one guitar, this might also be another reason I would look at a guitar like this. A very special piece. Thanks for your time today and checking this out.